Hey, Daddy.
Hey.
We're driving to the diabetes class. Yay! And it's my birthday. Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday to you.
What? What?
Happy birthday to Bunny.
Oh, well, thank you, baby. We're still kind of sick, but we're gonna get out of here. See you soon. Gestational diabetes. Like I said before, I went to take the glucose test a few weeks ago, and I failed it. So they have me going to this class. Oh, sorry. So now I'm going to be talking about the gestational diabetes class that I had to attend, and basically, it just helps me map out a way to be successful at keeping my blood glucose level down and continuing the pregnancy as normal as possible without having baby Bertha. In the class, they ended up giving me a meal plan where it looks like this. Where basically, my dietitian asked me my eating schedule and sleeping schedule, and basically tailor-made, according to the things that I like. My diet, carb intake basically is the number one thing, sugar and carbs. And since carbs process break down like sugar, it is hand in hand. The point is, I have my meal plan, my food plan, and the short version of this is I eat 6 times a day. I eat about 2 to 4 if I'm carb options or carb choices at each sitting. So I still have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then I have just the 3 snacks in the middle. So I thought it was going to be stressful, but it's not really bad at all. It's just you have to know how many carbs you're going to be taking in. Like I said before, I'm going to go on a P90X diet. If that's okay with something that I'm going to definitely try to nurse. So if that's okay with the lactation consultant, if that'll work well with the vitamins and minerals and fluids and stuff I need to have for the baby for nursing. If it works together, then it's going perfect. So the point is, counting carbs is going to be something that I'm going to probably take on for a few months anyways, just to try to get the baby weight off completely. But yeah, so it shows you how many servings of carbs I'm able to have per meal and per snack. And inside the manual or the pamphlet, it's broken down: carbs, veggies, and fruit. When I said veggies, that just says fruit. Haha. Because obviously vegetables don't have any carbs, the non-starchy ones, that is. So yeah, carbs, fruit, milk, yogurt, combination foods and snack foods. And it has a list of all the different foods, the different types of foods in here, going from, obviously, okay, for an example, a bagel, a large bagel, something I'll find at a bagel shop, about 45 inches, 45 inches, usually has about 60 to 75 total carb grams, or is considered 4 or 5 carb choices. Basically, a carb choice equals 15 grams of carbs. So if I eat something that has 15 grams of carbs in it, or carb grams, that equal 1 carb choice. So if I'm only allowed 2 carb choices for my breakfast, then I can only eat something that has 30 carb grams in it. So that's basically how it works. And I'm allowed 200 calories a day and about no more than 65 grams of fat. And it's just to keep my blood glucose level even, so it didn't put me at any type of risk, or the baby didn't have a risk. So after class, after we talked about the diet, we talked about the glucose meter. And basically, this is my glucose meter. Prodigy is the company that, my Pocket, whatever. And basically, it's really simple. That's my glucose meter, and this is my sticky thing. I don't know the proper name for it. And the lancet goes here. You can see the little needle is there. This is the lancet. This is the bag of lancets. Insert the lancet, click it down, twist the cap, set the depth of the needle stick, push the button, and bam. It pokes you. You take your glucose meter and your test strips. Insert a test strip here. It comes on. You soak the blood. Well, you let the test strip draw in the blood by getting a dot of blood and lining the test strip up to the blood, and it kind of absorbs it. Then to read your glucose, your blood glucose level. Pretty simple. I was so freaked out. Okay, I'm sitting in the class, and Clyde came along, you know, for support, because he's always there for everything. He's just so sweet. And he came along to the glucose class, and y'all, that class was from 1 to 4, and we were in there from 1 to 4, sitting there, and by the end of that class, my back was screaming, okay, sitting up in that chair for that long. Anyways, yeah, so we learned a lot about, you know, glucose and the effects that it has on our body and the baby and that. There was a lot of really good information, and a lot of this stuff was things that you should probably know, trying to maintain a healthy diet with diabetes or not, you know, but a lot of it was tailor-made to, you know, my case and the other person's individual case. They've had about 4 different classmates in that class in particular with Clyde and I, and our dietitian tailor-made everyone their own plan, so it was kind of awesome. So yeah, we sat in that class for 4 hours and viewed the slideshow, listened to the presentations, and I got all our information and got my diabetes kicked. And I have to take it 4 times a day, once fasting, which is when I first wake up in the morning when I hadn't eaten anything. Then right 2 hours after I had my meal. So 2 hours after breakfast, 2 hours after lunch, and 2 hours after dinner. So sticking myself 4 times, got a bunch of needles, a bunch of test strips, and I'm just gonna have to do it. I was really, really scared though. You know, with Clyde being sick and you know, just everything, you know, with all the hormones and stuff. And it was my birthday. We on the day of the class, so we get there, and it was just, it was, you know, it was a lot of information I was taking in, and I was kind of worried too. You know, I was kind of worried too. A lot of information we were taking in, and I was kind of worried too because I don't know. I was like, I have to get this right. You know, it's different if, you know, you're dieting yourself and you're counting carbs. I'm like, okay, well, I may have had too many carbs today. You know, I'm going to jiggle a little bit, I'm probably not going to get a fit in those jeans tomorrow because of that milkshake or whatever. But when you're dealing, I felt, you know, a lot of anxiety, you know, knowing I'm dealing with something so serious, and, you know, already having the reflux, the pregnancy reflux, so I can only eat certain things, you know, as it is, that doesn't, you know, come up or just make me feel miserable. So I was really stressed out at first until the end of the class, but I was holding together. You know, we went through the slideshow, and I'm sitting there, I'm holding together, and, you know, Clyde's sitting there like, you know, we got it, you know, we're going to do this, it's going to be fine. And I'm like, okay. So I'm looking at him like, okay. And she comes over and tries to show me how to work the meter, and now she's going to stick my finger, and I'm dreading this. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is going to suck, this is going to suck, this is going to suck, this is going to suck. But she said, and it didn't hurt really, it didn't hurt at all. It just, you just feel something snap or pluck your finger almost, the way I like to describe it, and then you know, squeeze your finger a little bit and draw up a little drop of blood, and you don't even need that much blood, and it just works that way. But yeah, so I'm sitting there and freaking out like, oh my gosh, you know, now I have to deal with this part. Oh no, you know, we're going to get poked, I'm going to get poked in the finger, and I'm going to have to do this to myself, and I can't imagine this. But when she did it, you know, and I realized it didn't hurt, I was just like, oh, thank goodness, you know what I'm saying? And then it's like all the adrenaline that I had built up in me, you know, about all this and all my worries and the anxiety just kind of just dropped. I just wanted to cry. I don't know, overwhelmed, I guess, pregnancy hormones. I just wanted to bawl right there in the middle of the class, like, okay, it's not so bad, and pregnancy, it's crazy. So we get in the car on the way home, and I'm just bawling. I was so scared, and I don't want to give birth to baby Huey, and you know, I was just freaked out for a minute, but it passed, and he helped me through it because he's just so sweet, and he's sick, and you'll see. You saw the video a little earlier. He's still a little sick, but he definitely was there for me, and he didn't have to go to the diabetes class. We decided to. He's just so sweet. Okay, yeah. So diabetes class, and that's what I learned, and I'm gonna be doing that for the next 10 weeks if she's not late. Let's hope she's not late. Because I'm 30 weeks now, so yeah, about 10 weeks to go, and we'll go from there. All right, see ya.